The ocean is insanely deep, deeper than we can possibly imagine. Beneath those calm blue waves lies a world darker, colder, and stranger than outer space. We've mapped Mars better than our own seafloor, and most of it is still a complete mystery. So, let's dive down.
We begin at the surface, sea level. Here's a human, tiny. Now here's the biggest ship ever built. The Seawise giant supertanker, longer than the Empire State Building, is tall. And yet compared to the ocean, both are just toys bobbing on the surface. So let's start sinking. At 40 meters, we reach the limit for recreational scuba diving. This is as far as most divers will ever descend. The pressure here is already 4 times greater than at the surface, and only about 10% of sunlight remains, casting the water in a dim blue haze. A little further down, at 100 meters, oxygen toxicity becomes a major threat. Staying here too long could be fatal. And yet freedivers push far past this depth on a single breath. The current record belongs to Herbert Nitsch, who in 2012 descended to 253 meters, the height of a 70-story skyscraper, without any tank at all. By this point, only about 1% of sunlight remains, leaving the water in near darkness. Slightly deeper, at 332 meters, we hit the world record for the deepest scuba dive ever, set by Ahmed Gabr. Imagine strapping on tanks and swimming down deeper than the Eiffel Tower is tall. The descent itself took only minutes, but the journey back up lasted 14 hours with carefully planned decompression stops. To survive it, Gabr used 92 oxygen tanks. An unbelievable logistical feat, just to glimpse a world humans were never meant to enter. Further down at 500 meters, we meet the blue whale, the heaviest creature to ever live on Earth. It can dive this far chasing krill, but never deeper. At 535 meters, where the deepest recorded dive by an emperor penguin takes place. Their bodies are built to survive the crushing pressure with lungs that safely collapse and rebound, a feat no human could manage. Down here, the weight of the water presses with the force of a polar bear balanced on a coin. At 700 meters, we enter the safe limit for modern nuclear submarines. Any deeper, and the hull risks imploding under the immense pressure. The ocean can crush steel like it's paper. At 828 meters, the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, would vanish completely underwater. And yet, we're still just scratching the surface of the deep. Sinking slightly deeper to 1,000 meters, sunlight is gone forever. This is the midnight zone, pitch black, icy cold, and eerily silent. Most fish here produce their own light. A flicker in the dark might be a lanternfish, or a glowing lure from an anglerfish, waiting for something to swim too close. At 1,340 meters, we meet Mr. Blobby, the world's ugliest animal. But in its natural deep sea home, the blobfish doesn't look like the sad, squishy creature from viral memes. Down here, the immense pressure supports its jelly-like body, giving it a more normal fish shape. It has almost no muscle and relies on simply floating just above the seafloor, passively opening its mouth to eat whatever drifts by. At 2,000 meters, the sperm whale dives to hunt its legendary prey, the colossal squid. Their epic battles leave long, jagged scars across the whale's skin, proof of tentacles lined with razor-sharp hooks. Dropping further down, at 2,992 meters, we meet the ultimate deep-diving mammal, the Cuvier's beaked whale. In 2014, one of these incredible whales set the record for the deepest mammal dive ever recorded, nearly 3 kilometers down off the coast of California. But that's not all. Cuvier's beaked whales also hold the record for the longest mammal dive, staying submerged for a mind-blowing 222 minutes. At 3,688 meters, you reach the average depth of the oceans, where you would normally expect to hit the ocean floor. But the ocean doesn't stop there. There are parts far deeper, where life adapts to unimaginable pressure and darkness. At 3,800 meters, the wreck of the Titanic lies in silence. The pressure here is nearly 400 times greater than at the surface. Steel groans, wood dissolves, and yet creatures still thrive. Rat-tail fish, shrimp that don't need eyes, and fish with teeth so long they can't even close their mouths. At depths between 4,000 and 6,000 meters, we're in the abyssal zone. This realm covers 83% of the total area of the ocean and 60% of Earth's surface. Down here lives the Dumbo octopus, flapping its ear-like fins like something out of a cartoon. except it's living under pressure that would crush a submarine. Further down at 6,000 meters, we enter the hadal zone, named after Hades, the king of the underworld. Most of the hadal zone is found in deep sea trenches. The pressure here is like having 50 jumbo jets balanced on your body. Unimaginable. And yet, life finds a way. Snailfish with transparent skin swim here as if nothing's wrong, proving that nature is tougher than steel. At 6,895 meters in the Philippine Sea lies the deepest known shipwreck ever discovered, the USS Samuel B. Roberts. This destroyer escort was sunk during World War II in the Battle off Samar in 1944. At approximately 8,075 meters, the deepest recorded vertebrate was filmed. A Mariana snailfish, the deepest living fish on Earth. Adapted to survive immense pressure and total darkness, these snailfish are proof that life can thrive where it seems impossible. Now, the final descent, the Mariana Trench. At 8,848 meters, we pass the height of Mount Everest. If Earth's tallest mountain were flipped upside down, its peak would still be underwater. At nearly 11,000 meters, we reach the Challenger Deep, the deepest known point of the ocean. That's as far down as a plane is high above your head when you look out the window mid-flight. Only a handful of people have ever been here. In 1960, Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard made the first descent. In 2012, filmmaker James Cameron followed, squeezing himself into a one-man sub to reach the bottom alone. Since then, technology has advanced, and as of now, 27 people have reached Challenger Deep across 22 expeditions. What's truly mind-blowing is that out of those 22 expeditions, 15 were made by Victor Vescovo. He holds the world record for the most dives to Challenger Deep and is also the first human in history to stand on both the highest point on Earth and descend to its very lowest. Besides this, he also completed the Explorer's Grand Slam and made a suborbital spaceflight. But those are stories for a future video. In 2023, the ocean reminded us how unforgiving it is. The OceanGate Titan submersible imploded during a dive to the Titanic wreck, killing all 5 on board. A tragedy that proved the deep sea remains one of Earth's deadliest, most hostile frontiers. And yet, here's the astonishing truth. We've mapped Mars more thoroughly than our own oceans. Only 5 to 10% of the seafloor is charted. We're still discovering bizarre new life, from supergiant amphipods the size of your hand to creatures that thrive around 400 degrees Celsius hydrothermal vents. The deep sea is our planet's final frontier, darker than night, stranger than science fiction, and deeper than human imagination.